Legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 292. And this video update is around number 70. This will be a very short update, probably under 5 minutes, hopefully, because today is quite a difficult day for me, as you can probably see. Uh, I feel really under the weather, as we say here on the islands, be it in Great Britain or in Ireland. Basically, when you feel sick or like something is trying to catch with you and some kind of virus or infection, then it's usually the phrase that people use, or you just feel really tired and you can't do much. And this is exactly how I feel today. This Friday was the last surf camp, or the surf summer camp for Julian. So I dropped him there. He enjoyed thoroughly this day, and he said that the waves were the best of all 5 days, and he enjoyed it the most of all 5 days. So, as it seems, regardless of instructors switching every 2 or every second day, it didn't matter too much for Julian, although definitely they helped because of their attitude, and he got more confident not only on the board but in relationships with them and with those couple of kids that were there. So, yeah, it was quite windy. It was probably the highest wind, probably matching the one that was on a Monday. It was really hard, to the point that in the middle of that 2.5 hours slot when the summer camp was happening, the guys decided to disassemble the tent where the people were dressing up and changing clothes in general, because they were afraid that the wind will just blow it off the cliff. So that kind of says enough. They very rarely disassemble that tent. It's quite sturdy and it survived a lot of winds, but they felt like this one is pretty hard. And why I look like that, really tired, I don't know exactly, but one of the vectors, which is strange, that's why I started writing the draft of the post today. And the blog post is titled Sleep Anomaly, because, after those difficult weeks some time ago where I slept very little, I had a very nice, probably about 10 in a row streak of days when I went to sleep before midnight, usually between 11 and 12. So 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. Sometimes a little bit before 11, but usually past 11. And I slept for 8 to 9 hours, which was great. But I still felt not slept very well, or kind of not refreshed or not recovered properly after those 8 to 9 hours, which should be sufficient enough. But again, I think I impacted my body a lot by those 2 weeks of stress, driving to and back from Dublin, not sleeping or going to sleep well after midnight when my mother and my brother came in for a week. So it was like a tough 10 to 12 days of exploiting my body and energy from it. So I'm not surprised that, it still tries to recover, and it will never really recover, as we know, because, you know, sleep is one of those things that you can't get back. So it's very important to do as much as you can regularly. So not sleep very long, or, you know, it doesn't matter if you sleep 8 hours, if you go to sleep at 2 or 3 o'clock at night or in the morning, because you already missed the most important part, which is before midnight. So not only we should be sleeping that 8, well, 8 is kind of common ground, but every person is different. It's between 7.5, I would say, and 9 hours that we should be sleeping, especially that circadian cycles of sleep are around 90 minutes. So it's always multiplication of 90 minutes. So 1.5 hour, 3, 4.5, 6. 6 is probably the minimum that you should sleep. Then 7.5 is probably like the sweet spot, and then 9 hours. It's a bit long, but it's still good. So if you sleep those hours, but you go to sleep after midnight, you're losing a lot of benefits and very important recovery part that happens before midnight, when our body is set for the circadian rhythm. So it's more important to go before midnight and sleep a little bit less, but still within, I would say, 6 to 7 hours, than going after midnight to sleep and sleep like 8 hours. There are multiple different vectors and aspects of that why it's bad. I really recommend the Dr. Matt Walker's Why We Sleep. The book and the audiobook is there, and there's also another one that I am just starting to read. I don't remember the name. It's School of Sleep or something like that. I'll probably drop it, the title, into the blog later on. So yeah, I am going to realign my sleep. So I was sleeping well for a good couple of days, and suddenly that anomaly happened tonight, where I went to bed yesterday probably around 11:15 p.m. So let's say okayish time to go to sleep, and I fell asleep immediately, pretty much. So you can count that hour as going to sleep. And suddenly I woke up before 3 a.m. and I couldn't fall back asleep, which is very rare. It happened maybe once or twice to me that, despite my efforts, it was almost impossible for me to go back to sleep. And I decided to not go to sleep from 3 a.m. in the morning. And while I was okay, to the point that I actually, at around 6, between 6 and 7 a.m., I decided to actually take the bike off the shed, get my stuff on, and rode first time for a long time on the bike about 30 kilometers, which is probably around 20 miles or something like that. Not really 20 miles, probably 18 or something. I was feeling great, despite being soaking wet, because the weather today is weird. It's tropical, but it's very humid. It's rainy, but it's very, very hot. Well, very hot. It's very warm, I would say. At some stage, we even have had 24 degrees Celsius, which was quite high for the last couple of days, where we mostly hit 12 to 14 maximum. So it's very warm and humid, and when I got close to the Blue Stack Mountains and Loch Eske, which is a lake, um, you know, it was raining quite hard, so I was getting a lot of that water. I didn't get cold because of temperature. Temperature was already about 17, 18 degrees, so it was nice. And I kind of dried on the way, so uh, that's cool. But because of that effort, I guess, and a very short sleep period, about 3 hours something, I felt, I started feeling around midday like falling asleep, losing, kind of getting lightheaded, and my head started uh, kind of migraine type of pain. So uh, it was going for the rest of the day. I had difficulties to, participate in meetings, but I kind of survived. It was okay. We came back with Julian from the surf camp, and I can't get myself around. I don't even think clearly. So, uh, well, I promised 5 minutes, but it turns out that we are already 10.5 minutes in. So, but I wanted to share with you that sleep anomaly that happened to me, and I need to go to sleep today. Well, I'll probably fall asleep even if I don't want to. Naturally, my body would probably shut down. But yeah, I wanted to update you about this because nothing else really happened. It was a very busy weeks, and this week was pretty hard on me. And despite sleeping, I just feel like this night was terrible in terms of, well, as I said, I felt good. I felt like I don't need the sleep because I felt kind of refreshed enough. I went on a bike, everything was fine, and around midday, like a thunder, something hit me, and I started being very sleepy. And I was a little bit afraid because I was driving, so it was dangerous state to be in. And later on, when I was doing Duolingo and other kind of those satellite habits, which are the daily apps where I keep the streak on. When I was on Mimo app, which is coding, I was kind of falling asleep in the middle, and then when I was kind of retrieving my consciousness, I was seeing like some gibberish that I wrote instead of code. So I'm really tired and exhausted. Got some food now. I rehydrated myself. I'll probably take a wash, maybe spend a little bit of time with family. Maybe we'll play some game or something, and I'll go to sleep very early today. So that's it for today, but hopefully tomorrow, assuming that I will sleep well, it will be more exciting because the weather is improving. On Sunday is the last league match for Julian away in Ballybuffy, so we'll be driving there and they will be playing. So Ballybuffy is the team that is first in the league, so they are quite tough opponent. We'll see how it goes and how the Drumbar development team will handle it. And it's actually very cool because they have a match on Sunday, and then on Monday they start the summer camp, but on the kind of in the soccer space. So it's a soccer summer camp, and it will be on Drumbar, so it's just around the corner. I won't need to drive like I did for surfing. So I hope it will be easier on me in case I don't or I can't go or something. It's always my wife Elizabeth that can just go there and drop Julian and pick him up, so it should be fine. And we think about getting another surf camp for Julian in August because he enjoyed thoroughly this camp, and it seems like it's a good idea. It's a nice routine for him. He's picking up very quickly and is getting better in surfing, so why not keep it up? Uh, that's it for today. Apologies for not an exciting content, or rather boring and dull one. But hey, it's life, it's health. I need to take care of that beautiful face and body so you can see me again. So please, thank you very much for coming. Please keep coming and watching, and I hope you stay tuned, and I'll see you tomorrow.